can't anything in the desert.
Yeah.
You're like snow on the car, like almost sliding off the highway to just straight up desert. And then you go through the desert, and you go over a river, and you go
Good morning. Good morning and welcome to KUUF Unitarian Universalist Fellowship. Whoever you are and wherever you come from, for this hour we are here, one gathered community, and all are welcome. Please rise in body or spirit to join in singing our musical call to worship. We've just had a little preview of it, this wonderful hymn, Blue Boat Home, number 1064 in the Teal Hymnal. That was wonderful. Thank you. Thank you, Brian. My name is Lisa Johnson, and I use she, her pronouns. I have, I don't know what color hair, mousy brown hair, and I wear glasses, and I'm wearing an orange jacket. And I was counting up today because my son is 35. I think we have been members here for 32 years. I don't know how I got to be that old, but this is a wonderful place to be, and welcome to all of you here. I am filling in for my husband, Mac Johnson, who is worshiping in the Church of the Blue Dome this weekend. So he's with us in heart. So for our land acknowledgement, oh, wait. Not quite there yet. I haven't done this for a while because I'm on the worship committee, and on the worship committee we don't generally be lay leader as well. So sorry for messing it up. Our worship leader this morning is our minister, Reverend Victoria Poling, who also serves as the minister to the Vashon Island Unitarian Universalists. Reverend Victoria uses she, her pronouns and identifies as a queer, white and Hispanic Pacific Northwesterner. She loves blue herons, peppermint tea, and lentil soup. If you are visiting us this morning, we invite you to participate as you feel comfortable. If you are here in person, we look forward to welcoming you after the service during our coffee hour. If you are attending online, please introduce yourself in the chat. For those of you here in the sanctuary, it's important to note that we regularly have 15 to 30 people attending online, so our community is larger than simply those assembled here. Either way, in person or online, we're glad you're here. If you're here in the sanctuary this morning, please silence all your electronic devices. The announcements are available in our weekly email newsletter, The Candle. And now we acknowledge that the land on which we gather is the Aboriginal territory of the Suquamish people. Expert fishermen, canoe builders, basket weavers, the Suquamish live in harmony with the lands and waterways along Washington's central Salish Sea, as they have for thousands of years. Here, the Suquamish live and protect the land and waters of their ancestors for future generations, as promised by the Point Elliott Treaty of 1855.
Hello. I'm Reverend Victoria. I have salt and pepper hair. I'm wearing glasses, a brown jacket, and a stole that has the colors of the air all the way down to the seashore today. I'd like to offer you these opening words on our theme of the month, which is invitation. What would it be like to enter into the flowing stream of your life, to encounter rocks and outcroppings, not as obstacles, but as invitations to change direction, to swirl a little, maybe even to twirl and dance, leaning into the turn and sent off again into the current of your life force, an energy some call spirit, an energy and a flow that some call love. Come, let us say yes to this invitation, to enter into this love that gathers us together in the many currents and streams of our lives, so that we may become a river that opens up into that great sea of being where mystery and manifest meet.
We welcome Vernita Byron to come up and light our chalice. So please join me now in lighting our chalice. If you have your own chalice or candle at home, please light it as I read our chalice lighting words by Sue Ayer. Spirit of life and love, we have gathered here in search of answers to hard questions. We have come in search of understanding, in search of community. We come in search of hope and healing. Let this be a place not only of searching, but of discovery. Let this be not only a place of learning, but of wisdom. Let this be a place not only of meeting, but of connection. And let this be a place where healing fosters giving and hope fosters service. This is our prayer, that we may create here a circle of love, ever expanding, ever growing, as we seek to know you, the source of our being. Amen, and blessed be. Now please join me in our spoken affirmation. The words will appear on the screen. We gather as a caring community, seeking life's deeper meanings. We value diversity and the worth of all living things. We strive to speak truth in love, to act for justice, to grow in spirit, and to care for the earth. We celebrate with open hearts and minds the creative power that sustains and transforms us. Now please rise in body or in spirit to join us in singing number 100 in our gray hymnal, I've Got Peace Like a River.
I've got peace like a river. I've got peace like a river. I've got peace like a river in my soul. I've got peace like a river. I've got peace like a river. I've got peace like a river in my soul. I've got joy like a fountain. I've got joy like a fountain. I've got joy like a fountain in my soul. I've got joy like a fountain. I've got joy like a fountain. I've got joy like a fountain in my soul. I've got love like an ocean. I've got love like an ocean. I've got love like an ocean in my soul. I've got love like an ocean. I've got love like an ocean. I've got love like an ocean in my soul. Pain like an arrow. I've got pain like an arrow. I've got pain like an arrow in my soul. I've got pain like an arrow. I've got pain like an arrow. I've got pain like an arrow in my soul. I've got tears like the raindrops. I've got tears like the raindrops. I've got tears like the raindrops in my soul. I've got tears like the raindrops. I've got tears like the raindrops. I've got tears like the raindrops in my soul. I've got strength like a mountain. I've got strength like a mountain. I've got strength like a mountain in my soul. I've got strength like a mountain. I've got strength like a mountain. I've got strength like a mountain in my soul.
Good morning. My name's Liz Roberts. I'm in my 50s. I have short dark hair, wear glasses, and today I'm wearing a blue patterned dress. Now, all month long in September, we are exploring the practice of invitation. Today, our water ceremony is a perfect way to talk about how we invite renewal into our own lives by combining all of our differences and the many different streams that we are into one. Today's story is all about that, and it's a story without illustrations. So sit back and let your imaginations fill with the pictures as I tell you the story of Higgins, a drop with a dream. This is written by the Reverend Christopher Boos from the Tennessee Valley UU Church. Once upon a time, there was a drop of water named Higgins. Now, Higgins was no ordinary drop. He was a drop with a dream. Higgins lived in a valley where it hadn't rained for a very long time, so all the lovely green grass was turning brown, all the beautiful flowers were wilting, and the trees were starting to droop. Higgins had a dream that one day the valley would be a beautiful place again. But what could he do? After all, he was only a drop of water. Higgins had a dream, and one day he decided to travel and tell all the others about his dream. All the other drops listened politely, but no one believed that this dream would come true. Higgins, said one, "Your head is in the clouds. You can't spend your whole life dreaming." Higgins decided he had to do something to make this dream come true. So he began to think and think and think. And one day, as he was walking by, he spied a rusty old bucket, and he got an idea. You know, if enough of us drops got together in this bucket, he thought, there would be enough water to sprinkle on a few flowers and help them grow and become beautiful again. Eagerly, Higgins told everyone about his great idea, and everyone thought he was being foolish. That Higgins, nothing but a dreamer, they all said. Higgins decided he had to do something to convince the others that he was right. So he said to them, "I don't know about you, but I'm getting in that bucket. I hope some of you will join me. Then there might be enough water to at least help some flowers grow beautiful again." So Higgins ran as hard as he could. He hopped way up in the air and he landed with a kerplunk in the bottom of the bucket. And there he sat, just a drop in the bucket. For a long time, Higgins was very lonely. You see, it seemed no one else was going to join him. But then after a while, some of the other drops could see that the grass was indeed dying and the flowers were wilting and, well, the trees were drooping. They all agreed that something must be done. Suddenly, one drop shouted, "I'm going in the bucket with Higgins." And they leaped through the air and landed kerplunk in the bucket. Then two more drops yelled, "Wait for us!" And they hopped through the air and they landed in the bucket. And then 10 drops jumped through the air into the bucket. And then 30, then 50, and then hundreds of drops came from all around just to jump in that rusty old bucket. Soon the bucket was completely full of water, but there were still more drops that wanted to join. So they found another bucket and they hopped in. And before long, there were 2 buckets of water, and then 3, and then 4, and then 10, and hundreds, and eventually thousands of buckets of water. Along came a powerful breeze that blew over all the buckets, and the water flowed together to make a mighty stream. Everywhere that water flowed, the grass turned green again, the flowers bloomed, and the trees stood tall and straight once more. And all of this happened, you know, because Higgins had a dream, and his dream came true. Because he knew that although he was just a drop in the bucket, enough drops in the bucket make a bucket full, and then there are enough buckets that when the wind pushes them, justice and waters will roll down like a mighty stream. I wonder what you noticed in the story. How did it show you renewal? Just as individual drops of water in the story came from different streams, you and I, we come from all different places and we join together each Sunday in a community. It turns out that all of our differences don't end up dividing us quite as much as they unite us. May all of us, younger ones to older ones, hold on to this truth and carry it into our daily living and loving. Will you now rise in body or spirit to join your voice with mine as we sing, "May You Go with Peace," as the children go up to their classes? The words will appear on your screens.
Thank you, Liz. We gather as a as a religious community to give each one of us a place where we can do the work of many. Together, our light is much brighter than a solitary flame. Now is the time in our service when we share in the sacred act of giving, an expression of gratitude transformed into generosity that breathes life into our mission. As part of our mission that inspires us to act on our beliefs, we share our weekly offering with a local nonprofit agency or providing services within our larger community. Our charitable giving recipient for the month of September is Kitsap Homes of Compassion, a local nonprofit offering housing support services to help people find safe and stable housing in our community. In a moment, our ushers will move among us with baskets to collect the offering. Donations placed in the basket will go to Kitsap Homes of Compassion. If you would like your offering to be used for KUUF, please use one of the envelopes provided in the order of service when you came into the sanctuary. For those joining us online, you may go to our website, kuuf.org, or select the Giving tab for PayPal and mailing information. If this is your first time at KUUF, feel free to let the basket pass you by. Your presence is a gift. Let there be an offering to strengthen and sustain our beloved community, which is sacred to us. Let us enjoy a gift of music from our music coordinator, Brian Kinney.
Thank you for your generous gifts. Now is the time in our service when we share our joys and our sorrows with one another. When shared, our joys are amplified and our sorrows are lessened. I'd like to light this first candle. As we've heard the news this morning, it was confirmed that 6 hostages were killed by Hamas. So we hold heavy hearts as we sit here in solidarity with our Jewish and Israeli friends. Within the congregation, we have a joy from Meg and Eric Howlett. Meg and Eric are retiring from active real estate and will be on a referral basis only. Congratulations. We have a sorrow from Margaret McKinstry. My 82-year-old stepdaughter was taken to the ER this morning. This is a joy and a sorrow from Liz Roberts. The joy is spending time each week with dear friends in the waters of Puget Sound for healing water and friendship and renewal. And the concern as my beloved mom begins her cancer treatment this week. This is a joy from Rowan and Chris that we were able to gather with both Rowan's and Chris's extended families over the last 2 weekends. First time all of Chris's siblings were together since before the pandemic. A joy from Marcia Kristen. We received the building permit to start on our multi-generational family complex. Congratulations. And a joy from Marty Bishop that our garden out here, Nancy Joe's garden, has some green beans and pears available that are going to be in the courtyard at the farmer's market table, as the deer have already taken their fair share. And we'll light one last candle for those joys and those sorrows that are still too tender to share. I offer you this pastoral prayer by Reverend Tracy Johnson. Today we pray with gratitude for the blessing of water. Blessed water, source of life, of which we are wondrously made. Source of sustenance, quenching our inner thirst. Source of refreshment, cooling our bodies. Source of restoration in dry times, penetrating hardened surfaces, rejuvenating and cleansing. Blessed water, source of life, we see your power upon our earth, watch with awe as it pours from our heavens, filling beyond capacity, raging over once trusted boundaries, rising up from the low places, filling lives not unlike our own with heartache, and yet we know it as a source, and we offer blessings. Blessed water, source of life, we honor the collection of water today, which we are about to take up, not because of its individual sources, but because it is gathered here, in this place, in this act of mingling our separate lives, our personal encounters with life-giving waters. As these waters are joined, so too we join. Please remain seated as we sing Spirit of Life, hymn number 123, in our gray hymnal, and the words will appear on the screens. Today we are celebrating. We're celebrating what is called ingathering. This is the time when we come together again after there's been a summer break for our youth from school. And for some of you, there have also been some breaks and some visits, maybe some travel, visits with family and friends. And for some of you, this has also been a summer of medical procedures and of caregiving. So however you have experienced your summer, our ingathering is a threshold time that we cross to mark a turn from individual and family pursuits back into community time here at KUUF. In our fellowship, we've often celebrated our yearly ingathering with a water ceremony. The water ceremony has changed from year to year as a response to what we need. You'll even hear me use several names: water ceremony, water ritual, water communion. And that's because there's no one way to refer to it in Unitarian Universalism. In this space, we hold many names. For those of you who are new here, and also for many of you who have been UUs for a while, it's helpful to recall where our water ceremony came from and how it began so that we can reflect on where we are now. So today's reading is the story of the original water ritual in Unitarian Universalism, informed by Carolyn McDade, Reverend Dr. Susan Ritchie, and Marian Shadow. Once upon a time, in 1980, two Unitarian Universalist women, Carolyn McDade and Lucille Shuck Longview, were asked to create a worship service for the Women and Religion Continental Convocation of Unitarian Universalists. As they shaped that service, McDade and Longview wanted to create a new ritual that spoke to our connectedness to one another, to the totality of life, and to our place on this planet. They included a new symbol, an inclusive symbol of women's spirituality, which was water. They wrote, "Water is more than simply a metaphor. It is elemental and primary, calling forth feelings of awe and reverence. Acknowledging that the ocean is considered by many to be the place from which all life on our planet came, it is the womb of life, and that amniotic waters surround each of us prenatally, we now realize that this was for us a new story of creation. So we chose water as our symbol of our empowerment." In the service they created, held in East Lansing, Michigan, which was called "Coming Home Like Rivers to the Sea," as its creators, McDade and Longview enacted the ritual in the liberating space of a semicircle around a large earthenware bowl. And they asked 8 different women, each coming from distant places, to bring water. And they did. Water from the Rio Grande in the south, from the Assiniboine River in Canada, rainwater from Maryland, and water from both the Pacific and the Atlantic Oceans. And waters from many other places were all poured together into this earthenware bowl as each bearer described its significance. As the ritual continued, says Carolyn McDade, water deepens in meaning for us, just as water deepens during its long and winding journey on its way to the sea. So this is the story of the water ritual. Let us give thanks for this ceremony and the women who created it. Please join me in a moment of silent reflection, followed by special water music by Brian Kenny. Thank you, Brian. That was gorgeous. I could just hear the movement of the water in that piece. Did you know that 45 to 75% of your body is water? Our bodies are bodies of water, and our bodies need clean water. And many of us here who live on the Kitsap Peninsula can hardly imagine life without the salty estuary of the Salish Sea surrounding us. Wherever you go down the road, at some point, you'll reach the water. Water is so much more than a symbol. Water is life. I feel this most viscerally in the summer when I can swim outdoors. I like to swim at a lake near my house in Maple Valley. The water temperature is just right, even into the early evening, and the lake is large enough for the many people who go there seeking joy and relaxation. It is wonderfully diverse. People laugh and talk in many different languages. There are eagles overhead and curious ducks who approach my blanket on the grass looking for treats. I enjoy the people sounds, especially the kids running around and the laughter of teenagers who are excited and nervous about each other. At the lake for a time, I'm able to set aside concerns of war, of famine, of poverty, but not the effects of white privilege or racism or ableism, as I see how people interact with one another, seeking to create a sanctuary for themselves outdoors as they cook their family's foods on a barbecue and play their preferred music, creating a cultural bubble of safety around themselves as a buffer against the dominant culture. I take these awarenesses with me, wondering what to respond to next in my own circle of connection, relationships, and influence. Wondering how I might widen that circle. Wondering how to hold people whose life experiences and perspectives set us at times at odds with one another. The lake doesn't give me answers, but the water gives me more ease, an expanded heart and spirit with which to contemplate these things. When I wade into the water, I feel a rush of joy as well as goosebumps, especially when I see the glint of the sun sparkling across the ripples on the surface. You know what I mean, right? And I feel that sense of relief as the tension unwinds from my shoulders, an unwinding of chair posture from sitting in front of a computer. And I also feel a sense of, I'm not quite sure if I'm going to like this, as a squish of mud comes up into my sandals. And there is a swirl of cold water. And so when I'm up into my waist, I take some deep breaths to calm myself and fill up with courage, because I need just a little bit of extra courage to get all the way in the water. Even after years of swimming outdoors, I still need that little extra bit of courage. But as I slip into the water and swim off towards the center of the lake, I can feel my body settling into its element. My body is water, returning to water. This getting into the water, you see, is full of mixed emotions, of joy, of relief, uncertainty, and a little nervousness that calls for building up courage before settling into an immersive relationship with the water. Perhaps you have places in your life where you have to dig in for a little extra courage before you can offer yourself fully to the situation, before getting fully into the water. Maybe you feel that way about wading into the waters of going back to school. Maybe you feel that way about wading into the waters of longer nights approaching and how that affects your spirit. Maybe you feel that way every day just before wading into the water of reading or watching or listening to the news. Perhaps that's as it should be. As Carolyn McDade describes, water is elemental and primary, calling forth feelings of awe and reverence. I think we know this when we use the metaphor of wading into the waters, because the waters change, and the waters change us. So asking for a little bit of extra courage and feeling a little bit of nervousness is perhaps the body's way of alerting us to the possibility of change, of being changed. At the lake, the surface changes when the wind picks up in the afternoon. The shoreline changes from summer to summer. And those who live in it change, from the ducks to the algae to the parasites. Though the county health department has certified the lake as swimmable again this year, there's a certain risk involved in slipping into this womb, into the amniotic waters of life. And though I'm invited into the lake as a swimmer, I don't fully know what interdependence with this lake will mean for me, because the lake still holds mysteries. As we gather together here at the tail end of summer, let us be reminded that in our congregation, our relationships with one another still hold mysteries. We can't fully know what interdependence with one another here will mean for us this year. Our theme for this month is the practice of invitation. What if you and I and the people in our wider communities are being invited into greater interdependence? You've all had opportunities to be invited to something, an event, a birthday party. Maybe some of you have felt that uncanny invitation of being invited by a mystery to follow a new thread in your life, or you felt a sense of calling or purpose. Some of these invitations are exciting and welcome, and some of those invitations may have left you feeling nervous and uncomfortable, uncertain if you would go, if you would follow that invitation. Adam Odell, who is our music coordinator for the Soul Matters program that we use for preparing our worship services, observes that what's easy to overlook is that invitation is only about 20% the act of inviting someone in, and the other 80% is making the space within our communities and within ourselves to be truly inviting. This, of course, is the harder work, as it involves letting go of a little bit of control, maybe some power, some influence, and our preferred way of doing things. Sir Alex Capitan offered KUUF an invitation a few weeks ago to do just this, to do what we need to do to make space within our communities, to be truly inviting to trans and non-binary folks, to LGBTQIA+ folks of color, and to folks who are low income. Z reminded us that welcoming is not about just opening our doors to them or people out there. It's about creating a space where there is an us, where to be trans or non-binary, of color, low income, queer, is to be one of us. So we are invited to step across this threshold of ingathering today, to widen our circle, following this invitation, maybe with a little bit of nervousness for what it might mean to enter fully into an us, asking for a little bit of courage so that we might be able to wade into these waters of community, so that we might be able to enter into the flow of communal life and this love that gathers many currents and streams together with yours, to allow yourself to be changed as you approach that great mystery, that life energy, and the flow that some call love. Blessed be, amen, and may it be so. It is now time for our water ceremony. It feels apt to start this month of invitation with a ritual designed to invite us into our community, and many of you today have brought water for this water communion. That water might have come from the tap in your kitchen, or a lake or shoreline down the street, or from a body of water far away. As part of our ceremony this fall, the UUs for Justice in the Middle East have also invited us to participate in a symbolic protest that recognizes our participation in the community of the wider world. Some of you are bringing an empty cup here into the sanctuary as a silent yet powerful symbolic protest to continue the conversation within our congregation as violence in Gaza continues. So whether you're bringing an empty cup today or wherever your water comes from, we welcome it in our common bowl. And wherever you come from, wherever you are on your life's journey, we welcome you into this beloved community. Let's begin with a short visual meditation. Take a moment to reflect on what feels welcoming. You can close your eyes if you like, or just find something neutral to look at. And imagine it is the first time you came into this church. Perhaps it actually is your first time here today. Perhaps your visit was many years ago, but just for a moment, imagine it's the first time. What do you see as you approach the building? Who greets you as you walk in the door? Imagine you are invited into the space in just the way that you like. What does that look like? Are you welcomed with open minds, with acceptance, with curiosity and wondering? Are you welcomed with loving hearts, with kindness and caring? Are you welcomed with helping hands to navigate this new space? And I also invite you to consider, how will you be welcoming this year? Will you welcome with an open mind, a loving heart, and helping hands? Now bring your awareness back to this place and time and open your eyes if you've closed them. Take a moment to re-enter this space, and then I'm going to invite you to turn to your neighbor, or find a neighbor if you don't have one, to share about the water that you are bringing, and if you didn't bring any, that's fine, to our common bowl. And why is this water important to you, and how do you hope to be welcoming this year? So I'm going to ring the chime after 1 minute so you can switch. Go ahead and switch. Thank you, everyone, for sharing so enthusiastically with each other. Now that we've had a chance to reflect and share, we are going to gather the waters. We have 3 bowls this year, each reflecting a different kind of welcome. If you would like to commit this year to welcoming with an open mind, add your water to the bowl on the left side. And if you didn't bring any, we have a pitcher right there. If you commit to welcoming with a loving heart, add your water to the bowl in the center. And if you commit to welcoming with open hands, add your water to the bowl on the right side, or left side. There we go. Stage right, there we go, thank you. And if you brought an empty cup with you, we have a table here in the center for the empty cups. There's a pitcher of water by each bowl. If you didn't bring your water, we still want your contribution to help fill the common bowls. Everyone is welcome to participate, and if you would prefer to stay seated and would like some assistance, just please raise your hand, and one of our ushers will come to you and find out from you which bowl you would like to add your water to. So we're going to do this processional style coming down the center. So folks will come up through the center, and you can go whichever direction, and then come back around to your seats. And so will the ushers please come forward to help us out? I invite you now to come forward with your water as we offer them to our common bowls of this community. Thank you all for sharing your waters and your cups. This water is sacred water. It is water consecrated by our stories and our experiences and our commitment to welcoming. Some of this water I will boil and save for child dedications and other blessings throughout the year. We'll keep it in the freezer in our kitchen. And the rest will be poured in our memorial garden, which will link our present community with those who have gone before us. I now invite you to hold out a hand or two towards the water bowls as we bless our water together. And the words for the blessing are both on the insert in your order of service and on screen. You might need one hand for the words and one hand for the blessing. This water represents our church community, a community of welcome. We bless this water and our community with abundance. May we always know that we are enough and we have enough for all. We bless this water and our community with courage. May we stand bravely in the face of injustice. May we step boldly into the unknown. We bless this water and our community with wisdom. May we know when to speak and to listen. May we be ready and willing to learn from one another. We bless this water and our community with joy. May we take pleasure in being with one another. May we remember to laugh and to sing. We bless this water and our community with love. May we always know, no matter how hard life gets, that we are not alone. May it be so. Thank you for blessing this water and each other. Please rise in body or spirit to sing our closing hymn, number 1007. There's a river flowing in my soul in our teal hymnal, and the words will also appear on screen.
There's a river flowing in my soul. There's a river flowing in my soul.
At the end of our service today, I'd like to invite you to stay for coffee and tea and treats here in the foyer. You're welcome to bring your beverages and snacks back into the sanctuary if you wish. After service today, we have two groups meeting. One is the new to KUUF group. I think just gather here in the sanctuary and you can go from there. And then our grief group is gathering in the Elmore room, which is over here to our stage right, your left. I'd like to offer you these closing words for the extinguishing of our chalice. These are by Kaylee Rice, called All Rivers Run. It starts with a drop and then a trickle, a burble, a rush of water, bubbling towards its destination, and finally the wide, endless sea. All rivers run to the sea. Today you brought water, poured it into common bowls. Though our experiences have differed, these waters mingle, signifying our common humanity. Today you came and you shared in this sacred community. May you depart this sacred space, hearts filled with hope for new beginnings and a fresh start. Go forth, but return to this community, where rivers of tears may be shed, where dry souls are watered, where your joy bubbles, where your life cup overflows, where deep in your spirit you have found in this place a home. All rivers run to the sea.